Thank you. Honorable Senator Cardin, Senator Wicker, distinguished members of Helsinki Commission, it's an honor for me to testify today in front of you. I represent the Independent Defense Anti-Corruption Commission. It's a civil society organization from Ukraine. And before the full-scale invasion, we were engaged in defense reform, in making Ukrainian defense industry more transparent, more competitive, in reforming defense procurement. But after February 24, as many other civil society groups, we started to look into some areas of work which could help stop the war and save our country in the area of our expertise. And that's how we started looking into sanctions and export control regime to obstruct the flow of Western technology to produce Russian weapons. This Western technology comes from democratic Western countries, and Switzerland is one of such countries. Switzerland has a long-standing tradition of neutrality, and yet when it comes to actual decisions, this neutrality is rather questionable and sometimes is hypocritical. As Mr. Sullivan already mentioned, their amount of Russian assets in Switzerland may be over 400 billion, but I want to emphasize that despite that, Switzerland refused to be part of the European task force devoted to searching hidden Russian assets. And why do they do it? Is it because Russians and their money are still hiding in Switzerland? And we know stories even about Alina Kabaeva in the media, but still people, media suspected, but government seems to look away from this and doesn't want to investigate. And these Russian questions, of course, concern us as Ukrainian citizens a lot because they help to Russia to wage the war. And when we look particularly at weapons, it's a very similar paradox there. Even, I would say, sharper paradox, because you know that debate about supply of weapons to any country at war is off the table in Switzerland a long time before the invasion of Ukraine. They are a neutral country. They don't want to be part of any conflict in the world. And the nature of Russian invasion made many people question their beliefs, and according to recent polls, already 55% of Swiss citizens support lifting the ban on export of Swiss weapons to Ukraine. But yet this ban remains. At the same time, our organization analyzed 22 pieces of Russian military equipment and weapons, and it includes, and we found that semiconductors and other critical components produced by Switzerland, by Swiss companies, they make Switzerland #1 country in Europe in terms of number of those components. And I'm talking about very serious deadly weapons that help Russia to wage this genocidal war and commit war crimes. This is those weapons in which we found Swiss components. This is Caliber missile. This is battle helicopter Alligator K-52. This is H-101 missile. This is drones Corsair, Orlan. This is Iranian-made drones, Mohajer 6 and Shahed 136. So Swiss companies such as STM Microelectronics, U-Blocks, T-Connectivity, Treco Electronics, they produced microchips and other critical components for these weapons. And on paper, they terminated any trade with Russia because Switzerland introduced in March 22 those sanctions, like other European countries, but investigations prove otherwise because they are still able to trade these components through third countries such as China, such as Turkey. And we, for example, I give you one example to show how easy it is and how transparent it is, and yet Swiss government is not investigating it. For example, the Swiss company U-Blocks, which is based in Zurich, it's a world-renowned manufacturer of microchips. They had around 10-14 shipments of different equipment, including navigation module to Chinese companies that later sold those to Russian company SMT iLogic. And this company is linked to a special technological center, which is an official manufacturer of Orlan drones in Russia. And the interesting part of this story that Switzerland sanctioned SMT iLogic only in January 2023, almost 1 year after the full-scale invasion began. Even more striking story is another company which directly basically supplies Swiss machinery to Russian war factories, which was sanctioned by United States back in 2014, Gallica AG. As of April 2023, they are still not sanctioned by Switzerland and still operating, according to investigations of Swiss journalists. So I want to emphasize this, that if Switzerland is so principled about not being part of any armed conflict in the world, why it is not enforcing measures to stop supply of its critical component to Russian and Iranian weapons? This is the question we are asking. And the ask to you as members of the Congress to make sure that the sanction regime and the global export control coalition, which was created by the United States, will become a functioning mechanisms, because the challenge of stopping their critical technology is not only Swiss challenge, and we know that majority of those components in these weapons, they come from the United States, and the United States should lead by example, and the United States should include Switzerland in this multilateral effort. And Swiss government, they should change their policies, and they should provide a very strict regulation to their companies to basically make sure that there is no re-export of military equipment to end users in Russia, because feeding Russian war machine with its technology while denying weapons to Ukraine does not look like a neutrality to me. Thank you for your attention. Glory to Ukraine, and God bless America.
Well, let me thank all three of the